Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and sometimes on Monday mornings I have a hard time getting going. It's like I'm worn out from the weekend, but we're ready to roll. So let's start with this. Kava Networks, one of my sponsors, they are, give them a follow. They're at Kava_platform. You can find them at the top of the description of this video. Kava Networks, Ethereum CoChain beta loading. 20 plus Pioneer protocols unlocked to deploy, updated EVM structure, increased validators, only 48 hours to go. Go check them out. These guys have a lot going on. Now, Dark Defender had an interesting tweet last day. Hi there, I got my coffee first and recommend you grab yours as well. Today I'd like to share the cup patterns and their exponential possible targets. Considering cup and handle patterns, XRP can bring herself up to $7.60. And $96 with the second bigger cup. Support 78 cents, 66 cents. Enjoy. If the Dark Defender is in any way right, anywhere between these two numbers, the Digital Asset Investor family will be extremely happy, and I know yours will be too. Now, if Uncle XRP is right, then you'll be uber happy. We are talking $300 to $400 XRP. Do your research, and he's drawn this chart right here. I don't know if that means anything, but it's still interesting to me. Okay, James Rule XRP, someone who has revived it's the new XRP Richlist. Someone has Vitse Vin had shut it down a little while back, and this person has apparently gotten it back up. This is rich-list.info, and you'll remember how it shows basically shows the top holders of XRP, with the caveat that most people probably have multiple wallets, so it's not necessarily an exact science here. It's just interesting to look at. Now, you might remember I had tweeted this to J.W. Verrett. Now, J.W. Verrett, remember, he's the guy who was on the investment advisor committee for the SEC. He's the guy that took a parting shot at Gary Gensler. And then since then, it's been fairly obvious. He said he's been on with John Deaton. Anyway, this guy's one of the good guys, okay? So I tweeted this to him, and he had been talking about Thor Swap and how the SEC was going to go after them. And I had put out the video. This is the video where Joseph Lubin is talking to this guy on stage about how there's $25 billion in staking on Ethereum 2.0 right now. And so I asked him, I said, hey, JW, why is the SEC so aggressively going after companies providing crypto yield and completely leaving any Ethereum-related staking alone? Gary Gensler was very clear that paying interest falls under securities laws. And he says WAGMI, which I thought was a weird answer. That means we all gonna make it. I had to look it up myself. We're all gonna make it, okay? So what does that mean though? When I read that, here's what it says to me. What it says to me is, hey man, cut it out with the Ethereum talk. We don't want to talk about that, okay? We want Ethereum. We don't want to get into all that. This XRP thing will be over in a while. So that's just my maybe that's not what he meant. But listen, folks, here's my position on that. My goal has never been to take down Ethereum. That's not what we're trying to do here. I want Bitcoin and Ethereum to succeed, as I've said 1,000 times, on a level playing field. And my mission here is we're going to expose the truth as much as we can expose the truth until we get the level playing field, until the right thing is done. At that point, okay, you want us to quit talking about Ethereum disguised whales? I'm fine with it. But if you give me my level, give the XRP a level playing field, then we'll talk about not exposing the truth, okay? That's my position, okay? It's as simple as that. Now, here's where what he also says. Because I kind of asked him, I said, wait a minute, I don't really get it. So he retweeted it, and he says this: first, in the SEC's case against BlockFi, BlockFi got tagged in part for yield account for Ethereum. Further, to say staking meets the definition of note or investment contract misunderstands the test entirely. I totally agree with that, because that's Gary's words, not mine. I don't think any of the staking should be considered securities. That's Gary Gensler's opinion. I'm making the point, if you're going to go after all these other things, whether it's Coinbase, Lend, and he mentions BlockFi here. And by the way, he says here that BlockFi, that they were gone after for a yield account for Ethereum too. I believe that was only done. But remember who the investors in BlockFi are, folks. One of the investors, I'm pretty sure, is Anthony Pompliano. A lot of these same maxis are the investors in BlockFi. I believe personally that they went after, they did this little soft thing where they let BlockFi out with a fine, as kind of like we went after them too. That's what I think, because the big kahuna here is Ethereum 2.0. They don't want to go after that one. Okay, so he's pointing out, rightly so, that he doesn't think any of this goes under an investment contract. Now, so I said I agree. Ethereum or any other staking should not be a security. My question is, why is Gary Gensler not going after the mother lode? Ethereum 2.0 staking is over 25 billion. Why is that being left alone? Now, this is the point at which JW doesn't want to talk about it anymore. And again, like I said, I think JW is one of the good guys. But I think that most of the people are kind of like bit boys. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Stop talking bad about Ethereum. Well, it's not that I'm trying to talk bad about Ethereum. It's like I just said, we are going to shine a huge, when I was a kid, the farmers down in South Georgia in the summer, they had permits to go spotlight deer. I've never seen anything like it. You get on the back of a truck, you can go through a field and put a spotlight on a field, and the deer, you see all these huge deer that you don't ever see during the daytime. Their heads go up in the spotlight. Well, my spotlight, and I think a lot of people in the XRP community, our spotlights are going on Ethereum, because Ethereum is where the freaking bodies are buried. And so as long as XRP holders are being hung out to dry, and as long as the wrong thing's being done with regard to XRP, we're going to keep the spotlight on the truth. Because, a lot of people don't think about this, folks, but you want to know what the dirty little secret about crypto is? There's only one. XRP's the one, and Ripple's been transparent with everything about XRP. Who has not been transparent? Think about the irony of this. The two digital assets that we're to believe this entire industry is supposed to be built around are the two most secretive. Bitcoin, we don't know who Satoshi is. Who in their right mind is investing? Who on Wall Street and CEOs like Michael Saylor, what in the world are they thinking with the fiduciary duties they have, putting their clients or putting their company's money into Bitcoin when they don't know who created it? Which tells me they either do know who created it, or there's a lot of shady stuff going on. Also, who's the other one? So this whole industry is supposed to be built on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin, we don't know who Satoshi is. Ethereum, we're not supposed to talk about the disguised whales. Nobody's supposed to know who they are. There's never been an audit of that ICO. And we're supposed to have an entire industry that's built on all these secrets. Meanwhile, over at Ripple, they have been completely transparent with how XRP was created, who owns it, where it is. Completely transparent. And that's who the government goes after? No. Our spotlight stays on, folks. Now, this is an interesting article from the official cool guy of the Digital Asset Investor channel. He sent me this. This article, to me, came out of nowhere and is kind of odd, really. Bitcoin's not the future of money, but this crypto could be. And it's a whole write-up, excuse me, it's a whole write-up on XRP. And it's out of nowhere by this Andrew Button guy. Now, I'm not going to go into this because sometimes I feel like some of these articles are just written for a headline, but keep your eye on this. I don't know what this is about. This kind of came out of nowhere. Now, earthangel.xrp put this tweet out. I told you I watched this the other day. It's a Netflix documentary, Trust No One. It's about the QuadrigaCX CEO who supposedly died, and he didn't have the private key. He had not left anybody the private keys or any of his passwords, and his wife, nobody knew. And there was like $190 million gone that nobody could access. I knew that smelled bad then, and after you watch this documentary, you'll know something bad went down. And this person says, let me make sure I follow this person here. Okay. I just watched this movie, and this does not make you demand, if this does not make you demand a public audit of Ethereum, then you have no sensibilities whatsoever. With all the video evidence of Joseph Lubin blatant corruption, a lot more people could be hurt. Nothing about ETHgate is normal, just stating that fact now, so don't give me that excuse. Exactly. Now, let's go back. Let's go to the Bitcoin religion. Watch this lunatic dialogue right here.
You have a lot of experience with talking to institutions and executives about the power of this and how it can transform our global financial system. So can you give us an idea of what it's been like to talk to these folks that are, in charge of really big tech companies? I know you've talked to like Facebook executives and, folks in Silicon Valley, but also the IMF. Like, why aren't we seeing more institutions coming in? Why aren't there more Michael Saylors and Elon Musks and Jack Dorseys?
There's not more because of what I just described, but he's going to give you his Bitcoin kid version. There's not more coming in because what CEO is going to, unless he's out of his mind, what CEO is going to say, yeah, I'm going to invest a lot of our company's money into this thing, and I don't know who created it. And if the price goes to zero tomorrow, I'm not going to be able to explain to our board who created it and explain this for myself, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's insane. What investment advisor, what Wall Street firm is going to tell millionaire, wealthy investors, hey, you need to put a lot of your money in this Bitcoin thing. Listen, we don't know who created it. It could be a terrorist group. It could be North Korea, China, Russia. It could be whoever. We don't know who it is, but we still think this is a really sound investment for your portfolio. Nobody's going to do that unless they're just crazy. And if they haven't thought of what I just said, what in the world? Why have you not thought of what I just said? The only way they would do it is if they do know who the creator of Bitcoin is. And then you got a problem. If the creator of Bitcoin ever comes out, if anybody ever proves that that's their wallet and shows they can move money into it or out of it or whatever, or move money out of it more specifically, there's a big, huge problem, because then everything they've built Bitcoin up to be, it is not, because it's got a central party all of a sudden. Listen to this.
One of the realer answers is we need a little bit of regulatory clarity.
Now, let me tell you something, folks. I don't know anything about this guy. I know that he's a young, really smart guy. But let me tell you what, I've been around for a while here, okay? And this is one of the problems of the space. And there's nothing wrong with being young and being involved in crypto. It's a good thing. But there are certain things in life that you cannot, I repeat, there are certain things in life that you cannot learn until you've been burned. And the way to get burned is to have a lot of life experience. Get burned a lot. This guy's too freaking young to have been burned too many times, which is a red flag in itself. Listen.
It's not necessarily clear from a regulatory sense. I'll just shoot it straight. Shitcoins are the worst. Because people get deeply confused by hold on, is that a security? We don't want to violate. We're regulated by the SEC. We're a public company. What's that? What's the difference between that? If shitcoins didn't just arbitraged this trend and weren't scamming everyone, we'd move at a much quicker pace. But the real answer, to be quite honest, is they are coming, and it just takes time. I think personally, that people are on Twitter, like Command R, refreshing for a dopamine hit. Like, why isn't it now? But then 10 years from now, when you look back and you realize that you can walk into a grocery store and use any Lightning Network wallet you want, that merchants finally have choice to route their payments through other payment standards and other monetary networks, and there's open competition and remittances are free, and all of these things, you're going to be like, holy shit, did the world change fast? Chase is a business that's 150 years old, and boy, did that happen quick. So I don't know what's fast, what's slow. If shitcoins didn't exist, if we got a little bit more regulatory clarity, I think things would be quicker. I think I wouldn't have to sit in front of executives and explain why Solana is clearly a violation of securities law. It's very clearly not a technical innovation. It's very clearly the same as Visa, just new people heading it. But I think the truth is it is happening extremely fast. And
that is just crazy, folks. John Deaton, I'm looking forward to appearing on Making Money with, that's Charles Payne, on Fox Business this Wednesday, April 6th, between 2 and 3 Eastern Time. Look forward to seeing that. Now you got to see this. This is great. And this is John Deaton commenting on it. Stefan Huber was hard at work this weekend. This is why people are so angry. Hinman says, when we look at Ethereum, we don't see a third-party promoter behind the token. He is lying through his teeth, plain and simple. He and Clayton met those third-party promoters a minimum of 6 times in 6 months. A once per month average. Listen to this. This is great.
When we look at Bitcoin, or if we look at Ether and the highly decentralized nature of the networks, we don't see a third-party promoter where applying the disclosure regime would make a lot of sense. So we're comfortable in some sort of viewing these as items that don't have to be regulated as securities.
What do you think is going to happen to Ripple with this new ruling?
I don't know the answer to that. I wasn't able to read through Bill's entire speech, and I wasn't here. I don't know if he spoke about XRPs at all.
He didn't specifically mention anything about it.
So that's interesting.
So yeah, I mean, the fact that he named 2 other things but didn't name that one is certainly something that should perk up ears.
We don't see a third-party promoter.
And now we have this new concept, ultrasound money, where a diminishing amount of Ether is now being staked in the protocol, staked in DeFi protocols, burned in transactions, and all that against a backdrop of exponentially increasing fundamental activity on the network. And so this is not financial advice, but sounds like demand is going to exceed supply.
We don't see a third-party promoter.
We've done a very good job of upgrading the protocol many times over the years. We actually have an upgrade coming in a couple of weeks called the London hard fork. We're seeing exponential demand for the Ether token to run transactions, to run programs on the network, on top of essentially massively decreasing supply. So we anticipate that there will be an enormous run-up in demand and the value of the Ether.
We don't see a third-party promoter.
Great stuff. Now, I was going to remind everybody this documentary on the Ripple versus SEC saga is apparently you can watch it now. So they said if you go to their app, it's the trailer's here. It's this M-Content official app. You can go and watch the whole thing. Now, Jack Dorsey has once again talked about or acknowledged that he believes Web3 is fully centralized. This guy says Web3 is fully centralized. Unfortunately, unless you are very technical, it doesn't look that way. Well, you just have to watch some of these channels in the XRP community and you'll see that it's centralized. Now, Mikkel XRP is a dog with a bone on this particular issue, and he's right, okay? It says, breaking, Gary Gensler has done everything possible to stifle crypto innovation in the U.S. Cynthia Lummis has a plan to give Gary Gensler more power to hold America back. Retweet if you hold crypto and will not stand for this. Now, he's right. She does have a plan to give Gary Gensler more power, or the SEC, where Gary Gensler is the chairman. Here's the problem. There's a couple of problems going on here. What I'm seeing on social media is there is a tendency to say, oh, okay, since there's this handful of people in Congress that are pro crypto, okay, and so we should leave them alone. We shouldn't say anything bad about them. I disagree, because I've seen indications and I've seen comments by some of them, and I've seen tweets that lead us to believe, don't lead us to believe, they're just factual. I've seen things that where these people have outed themselves and come out that, yeah, they're just acting like they're for crypto in general, but it's the same old thing. They're just like CNBC. They act like they're talking about they're pro crypto in general, but they just put Bitcoin and Ethereum people on and put that on the screen constantly. Well, I think that there's a similar pattern with the Congress people. Cynthia Lummis is one of them. But you think about all the stuff we've shown. Now think about everything that we've talked about for the last year about the SEC, Gary Gensler, ETHgate, all this stuff. Now think about this for a minute, because he's right. After all of that, and you know Cynthia Lummis has seen it, after all of the things we've shown, Cynthia Lummis thinks it's a good idea to give the SEC more power. To me, that is extremely telling and disturbing. Don't take my word for it, though, because I can prove it. Watch this right here. And it's not just her. It's the woman she's writing the bill with, too.
Do you accept that fear?
Well, yet another reason why Senator Gillibrand and I want to create this regulatory framework, because by giving the SEC additional regulatory authority and additional disclosure authority, requiring when these assets are bundled in ways that make them look like securities, subject to the Howey test, subject to the SEC's jurisdiction, there will be sufficient information available to assure against the kind of risks that we normally don't deal with until there's a crisis.
Do you think that?
So think about that. With all the shenanigans, all the timeline, the shady stuff we've seen that's going on at the SEC, she thinks that it's a good idea to give them more power. So at what point do you ask the obvious question, which is, so are you saying you agree with everything the SEC has done? And if she agrees with everything the SEC has done, by default, she has to agree with them suing Ripple over XRP, which makes her an adversary, not someone that's on our team. Okay. And and she can prove me wrong. She can come out and clarify this anytime she wants. In fact, he said that she can come on to his show anytime that she wants. I saw a tweet about that. Now, let's round out this shady, and I do mean shady, supposed Web3 decentralization with this, because Stefan Huber tweeted this out this weekend. After another smoking gun, the head of Consensys, Project Civil, bragged in March 2018 about having a direct line to the SEC, which promised to not consider the ICO as a security offering. Both the SEC and Consensys would not say anything about it, referred to the Brooklyn Project. Check this out. Security by any other name. Now, this is this Ellis guy. That's the founder or the CEO of Civil. Civil had a direct line of access to the SEC. He went further and declared that Civil has been in discussion with them, the SEC, about the Civil token is not a security, but is in fact software licensed to allow people to operate governance mechanism. Okay, SEC declined to comment. We have no direct contact with the SEC. Referred him to the Brooklyn Project, who did not respond. The Brooklyn Project did not respond. That's Joseph Lubin. That's Civil. For all its complexity, Civil's fall was straightforward. It had been almost entirely funded by Consensys, a large for-profit blockchain company, and its CEO, serial entrepreneur Joe Lubin. Civil was able to raise $1.8 million, less than the $8 million soft cap. It was later revealed that Consensys was the largest buyer of the Civil tokens, 80% of the Civil tokens that went on sale. Why is the SEC not gone after Joseph Lubin or Civil over this? And another question, which is what I ask here. Wait, I think you may have had more to that thread. One sec. With Civic, Lubin wanted to create a truly decentralized news platform. The rules of this platform would be determined by token holders. But guess what? Surprise, surprise. Consensys bought 80% of the tokens and tried to disguise their holdings again with the support of the SEC. And then I said, well, if Civil was to keep the SEC from going after them, they would have to be sufficiently decentralized, right? This is the whole premise. Now think about this, folks, because I've told you 1,000 times. The Ethereum being classified a commodity was not just to be a commodity. It was also to get a monopoly on two things, token issuance and DeFi, okay? This is what it was about. Joseph Lubin has bragged not one time. He has been, and continues to issue tokens on all these various platforms under this guise of it being on Ethereum and thus being decentralized. Well, my question is this. If Civil was sufficiently decentralized to the point the SEC didn't need to go after them, how is it possible for them to go out of business? Shouldn't they continue to exist without the founders and all of that? Isn't that the concept? Or are we just looking at something that got a free pass and Joseph Lubin made himself rich off of the 80% of the tokens he was able to buy? Without an investigation, this whole crypto space, folks, is a farce until they give us a level playing field. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family this whole thing is a joke until we get some satisfaction. Thanks.